matriculated, as my father would say, through Howard. But this is just ridiculous. And that 45-year-old woman, who I like very much, had 3 kids, 25, this, that, and the other. And I'm going to say this because you'll get my point. Her name was Shirella. And I said to her, well, your mother must have been very creative. She said she was named after the Shirelles. Now, the Shirelles are older than I am, and you are. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, they have to be.
I made her stop the banking, my no money banking, by the way. But, I was not transferring funds to the Cayman. And I made her stop. I said, pull out your personal phone. But our kids know nothing. So, in closing, I'm going to say this. Because you have everyone's ear. You have everyone's ear. Even some of these Philadelphians who did not particularly care for you. When you ran for president, some of these people said to me, I'm very impressed with him. And what year was that? And then just tell me what year.
2004. 2004.
Yeah, they were very impressed with you.
Yeah, but you've been with us for the long haul. Lee, y'all pick her up now. I want to make sure that we get her to the convention. This is my friend Penn. We've been talking for years. I've been on 11 years. She's been right with me. So y'all pick it up and get me her information so I can have them make sure she's here. Brian Wyatt in Chicago through XM 126. You are on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton.
Hi, Reverend Sharpton.
Hi.
Yes, it's an honor to speak to you, and you probably would recognize the last name from Reverend Addie and Claude Wyatt.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you talking about legends. Reverend Claude Wyatt, Addie Wyatt, not only great and legendary preachers, but organizers, labor leaders, helped to bring Dr. King and the Chicago movement into being. Bringing him to Chicago was ones that really were the foundation for Operation Breadbasket, Operation Push. I know Claude and Addie Wyatt all my life, just about.
Yes, I'm the grandson.
Is that right? Wow.
That's correct.
Well, you know, Willie Barrow was one of the people that helped raise me in the movement, who was one of their members and recently passed. But no, I absolutely honored to talk to a member of the Wyatt family.
Right, and we're trying to keep the legacy going.
Well, that's a great legacy to keep going for all of us.
I wanted to mention, as far as this Syrian, I wouldn't even call it a strike. I'd say it's a warning. I feel that it was necessary, but also see it as a smokescreen. As we know, Trump is supposed to have a meeting with the president of China.
Right.
And this is just a star in his little crown to say, you see what I did.
Yeah.
You see. Now, we also know that Putin and Assad, they're buddies.
Right.
And Trump already mentioned to Putin, hey, this is what we're going to do. So, wouldn't you think Putin would contact Assad and say, hey, it's coming down the pipeline. Get your planes out of there.
Well, you know, you touch on some things that a lot of people are speculating on whether this was something that Putin and them kind of knew and winked at each other, and that this is to say to the President of China, you know, I'm a tough guy, as they talk about North Korea. And so that the public is so into the Syria thing, we want to ask, well, what about the trade agreements between China and the United States? If you said, Mr. Trump, you were going to make sure America got more out of a trade deal, since you against President Obama's trade policies, because China has an unequal relationship with us on trade. The American public, the American consumer market is inundated by Chinese products, and they are not taking a lot of American exports. But a way that he won't have to answer that is all of this other news going on. And I'm not one to minimize what happened in Syria, but a lot of us question, what are you doing, why, and what's the strategy?
Right, and actually, I don't think there is a strategy. There was just action. And regarding that action, weren't we supposed to get the okay from Congress before we even acted on this?
That's what he himself used to advocate. That's what they used to say to President Obama. And you just heard Congressman Greg Meeks of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Congress say on this show there was no notice, no warning. And when President Obama went to them saying he wanted to go into Syria, they said no, and he didn't go. But thank you, Brian, and please always feel free to call, and your family ought to know that we will never forget your grandparents. Both of them together, real gladiators for freedom. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More of you. Exhale Friday, 1-877-53.